Okay, if you're gonna try to help people, you want to help people, good. Give them the tools and help them. But the moment you're just turning around and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna control every aspect of your life, get them out of here. Yo, what's going on? And today we're gonna be watching a very, very, very interesting video. We've been talking about cults a lot on the channel recently, and let's look at this video by Visual Venture. Terrifying cults still operating today. Now, if y'all don't know, if y'all hadn't heard already from the other times I mentioned it, people tried to get me in a cult when I went to go teach English in Mexico at some point. It was an interesting situation. Let me know again. Comment on this video if you want to hear the story time for that. I might tell the full thing. I told like snippets of it here and there, but it was really intense. It was crazy. But with that said, let's go ahead and get into the video. Leave a like down below. Leave a comment down below. Leave a sub for me and Visual Venture. And let's go. Yeah. Hey. Okay.
And finally, after several minutes, this 40-year-old woman says she has turned into a 35,000-year-old man.
Very interesting.
Listen to me closely now. There he met some extraterrestrials
in
their
right?
spaceship.
Is this a cult? Definitely not.
You talk to your kids about drugs and alcohol, but you never think to coach your kids on the cult.
My friends, cults are not a thing
Well,
of the past. They are
religion.
present. Some of the
Religion kind of does that. To be honest. But that's another conversation.
worst cults have evolved with the times. They still recruit followers, silence doubters, and continue their creepy rituals. In this video, we'll explore terrifying cults still operating today. We'll begin with the strange ones and save the worst for last. So as you guys can probably hear right now, I'm pretty sick, but the show must go on.
Dang,
I would
man, get
hate
better.
to miss a weekly upload for you guys, so it would mean the world if you subscribe to keep us
Hey, I'm
growing.
already
Not
subbed,
Visual
but if I
Venture,
could, I
and
would
you
again.
are awesome. The Raelian Movement. The Raelian Movement is a global cult. It has 130,000 members across 120 countries. And every
Dang.
member believes the same thing, that aliens created all life on Earth. But that's only part of the story. Their main goal is to build
doesn't
an
sound that
embassy
crazy.
to welcome those aliens back to Earth. It sounds strange, but they
A lot of
believe all
people
this
believe a
because
lot
of
of
something
things.
that happened 50 years ago. The cult started with a man named Claude Voillon. He had a long list of failures. Claude tried to make it as a musician and failed. Then he tried to become a race car driver and failed again. But his life changed on December 13th, 1973. That day, Claude allegedly saw an alien in a park in France.
He looked pretty successful.
There he met, listen to me closely now, there he met some extraterrestrials in their spaceship.
According to him, a flying saucer landed in the field. A small alien stepped out. It looked human, but it had green skin and a goatee beard. But the real shock
A
was
goatee,
how the
bro?
alien looked. It was what it said. The alien told Claude that it was one of the Elohim. They were a race of advanced beings who lived on a perfect planet where the most intelligent are
He said, I am the Elohim. Why do you have a goatee?
in charge. They've mastered
That's the Elohim fit? You gotta have a goatee? Crazy, bro.
genetic modification. They live 10 times longer than humans. An alien claimed they created humans.
And in these laboratories, thanks to DNA and genetic combination, they created all life on Earth. It means trees, animals, and man.
Since that creation, the Elohim
how
have been
interesting.
watching humanity from afar. One day, they would return to Earth. But first, humans needed to build them an embassy. Here's what the alien embassy is supposed to look like.
It's his ambition to build the structure
Embassy.
shown in this model near Jerusalem. Its purpose, to welcome the alien race.
When the embassy is complete, the Elohim would come back to reveal their scientific knowledge to humanity. But how did Claude fit into their plans? The alien made Claude Elohim's prophet on
Why does
Earth.
he look like... Yo, why does he look like the dude from the 100? Hold on. At the end of the 100? 100 final boss. Why does he look like him? What was his name? Where is it? 100 CW final boss. Or final villain. Should we call him villain? Final villain. Why can't we find him? Dang, bro. Why can't we find him? Hold on. Who tests? Who judges? Who judges? Where is he at? We can't see him. What was his name, bro? Oh my gosh. We'll say let's see the 100 CW season, final season. He'll probably show up. He'll probably show up in one of the pictures. They're really not trying to show this guy, huh? That's so crazy. Maybe I should look at all. Let's look at all. How about that? Final season villain. Why do I feel like his name was like Booker or something? But it wasn't that. Bro, he should not be this hard to find, bro. Planet Bardo. Cadogan. There we go. Cadogan. I could have started with that. Cadogan. Then we'll go to images. Yeah, let's look. Why did he look like him? Bruh.
How did Claude fit into their plans? The alien made
Look.
Claude.
Y'all can't tell me, bro. Y'all can't tell me. Y'all can't tell me. Nah, bro. Bugging, bro. He's a CW villain.
Elohim's prophet on Earth. He was ordered to spread their message and build their embassy. The alien even gave him a new name, Rael. When Claude returned home, he started telling everyone about the alien.
What if the 100 writer or the writers they took inspiration from him to make Cadogan? Because that's kind of what he was doing when he built the stuff on Bardo. Crazy.
Interestingly, they listened. He also held conferences about his experience. His first conference attracted 2,000 people.
Most of these people were obsessed with UFOs and wanted to know more about the Elohim. And a few of these people actually believed every word.
In 1976, Claude, now called Rael, founded the Raelian movement. He traveled the world.
Here we go. He
recruiting
renamed it to
members.
him.
By 1995, the movement had about 40,000 members across 85 countries. Every member was required to donate 10% of their income. The money was to finance the construction of an embassy for the Elohim. But Raelism wasn't just about aliens. It promoted ideas that seemed progressive. The cult supported equality for all. They also believed in using science to improve life on Earth. But the most controversial belief was about human cloning, and the Raelians were determined to do it.
I was the first on the Earth to say human cloning is coming very soon.
In 1997, the cult formed a company called Clonade. Its goal was
when I was
to
born.
create the first human clone.
Now we have 3 scientists working almost full-time in a lab here in the United States.
Their scientists worked long and hard. Then in 2002, Clonade made a huge announcement. They claimed they successfully cloned a human. Clonade shared almost no details about their supposed clone. The main thing they said was that a 31-year-old woman donated her DNA for the cloning process. And the baby, the first human clone, was named Eve. Obviously, the news made headlines, but the reaction wasn't all positive.
Oh, yeah, they're trying to play God, bro. They named it. Whoop. That's crazy, bro. They're crazy, bro. They named it Eve, bro. Or they named it Eve. Christians ain't gonna be happy about that.
Idea of human clones.
There's so many disastrous things that can come about from somebody doing this with a bad motive.
People demanded proof, but Clonade was very secretive. They refused to say where the clone baby was born, identify her parents, or even provide a picture. Still, the Raelians celebrated. To them, their scientists did exactly what the Elohim did, create human life in a laboratory.
They had no proof.
Over the next few years, Clonade claimed to have created dozens more human clones. But again, they provided no evidence. Despite the controversy, the Raelian movement kept expanding. Today, it has a surprising 130,000 followers worldwide. They're still working on building that alien embassy.
Why do they have this technology, and why is the FBI not cracking down on them? Why is like NASA, the FBI? I feel like other organizations are gonna be hitting them up like, "Yo, what y'all got going on over there?" Right? They must not have anything going on.
Claude, aka Rael,
proceed.
is still their leader. He claims he has visited the Elohim's planet in outer space. And there, Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, and other prophets continue to live through human cloning. The members of this next cult
This
were
sounds
literally
crazy, bro.
hypnotized by their leader. Buddhafield.
Bro, how you gonna... We'll get to that in a second, but how you gonna take the... How you gonna take the actual, like, bar for bar... The bar for bar stories and people associated with such stories from another religion and try to recreate it and say that it's your own, like, thing? What? That you didn't even change it at all. You didn't even, there was nothing transformative done. You literally just said, hey, I'm copying what the Christians believe to be true, and like Muslims and everything too, and then I'm bringing it in exact form to the real world. That's crazy work, bro. That's crazy.
People thought they were signing up for acting classes. Instead, they accidentally joined a cult. And the cult leader was their charismatic acting coach, Michel Rostand. Michel always wanted to be
That's why I'd be
famous,
hesitant about
success.
joining
He
groups
tried to
and
make it
stuff.
as an actor.
It was like, you know, I don't know if I've ever said, well, I have mentioned a little bit about it, but like as far as like my spiritual beliefs go, I'm not keen on like joining spiritual groups. Not that I don't like the community of it, but it's more just like spirituality in my sense of like how I like to connect with like and be spiritual and things like that. I like to be independent about it. I don't like to have like my viewpoint of the world like constantly bombarded and skewed by like a group opinion about something, you know what I mean? And so like that makes it so difficult for me to relate to people spiritually sometimes, or at least for them to relate to me. I can relate to them fairly easily because like I see most religions and stuff as like kind of like the same thing with like different cultural shifts, but the same core essence. But yeah, I guess maybe not so much anymore, but definitely like in the past, I would say that it's made it difficult for people to relate with me in that way. But I don't know, that's just my opinion. But that's kind of one reason why, is because I don't like cults and stuff like that. I don't like the groupthink spirituality. It's just not like, it just doesn't appeal to me. I prefer to have my own modus operandi. You know what I mean?
In Hollywood, but his career never took off. To pay the bills, he started teaching acting in Florida. But during those classes, things took a strange turn. Michel began slipping in ideas about philosophy and meditation. He spoke about a mysterious guru who led him to a great spiritual awakening. His students were fascinated.
I think he soon realized that he was having more success kind of channeling that spiritual side of him than the acting side of him.
But there was no evidence that Michel ever had a guru. Some thought he was just making up stories, but his students were
yakking about the
impressionable, so they ate it all up. By the mid-1980s, Michel rebranded. He was now a spiritual guru with superpowers.
Yeah, the 80s was like life.
A self-proclaimed enlightened being who claimed
80s was like the perfect time to start a cult.
His acting
Everybody was
became
eating
his
up
disciples.
everything.
Together, they formed a new
and no internet to
called the
disprove
group
it.
Buddhafield. Not long after starting the cult, Michel
Buddhafield
moved
is
back
so
to
crazy.
West Hollywood. His followers went with him. They rented homes near each other and lived like one big family.
We were together 24/7.
That's kind of cute.
We lived together.
That's kind of cute.
Ate together, played together. Everybody that I knew was in the Buddhafield.
Everyone contributed money to
Buddhafield,
support the group. Everyone except for Michel and his inner circle. They didn't work.
What?
They didn't have jobs. It was the
Crazy.
lower levels that funded Michel and his inner circle.
Crazy.
Michel didn't lift a finger. His followers bathed him, massaged him, and cooked his meals. Sometimes they even tucked him into bed at night. To outsiders, it looked like exploitation, but Michel convinced his followers that serving him was necessary for their spiritual growth. And they believed him because he was hypnotizing them. Every week, weekend, Michelle
That's so,
held
man.
private cleansing sessions with each follower.
That's so crazy.
Each cost $50.
Cleansing.
Followers said they felt lighter afterward. Some even claimed that they were healed. They thought it was because Michelle had divine powers. But the truth was far more scientific. Michelle was actually a licensed hypnotherapist, but he hid that fact from everyone. He wasn't performing miracles during these sessions. He was hypnotizing his followers. But he used hypnosis for another darker purpose. He made them drop all defenses and confess their most private thoughts.
I divulged every secret, every thought, every fear.
Michelle used those secrets to control them. He dictated who they could love, who they could trust, and who they had to cut off. Romantic relationships were forbidden. Friendships outside the cult were banned.
Here we go, all this
Bluefield
control.
was considered a betrayal.
Like,
Soon
on
the
its
whole
own,
world became
the stuff that he was doing was honestly fine. Like, you know, gathering people, giving them some sort of like spiritual relief and stuff like that. But the moment he started like playing like a god complex and saying, oh, you must serve me to have a higher spiritual plane or whatever, or you must and he starts controlling aspects of people's lives with what he does for them, that's when he like he lost the plot. He took it out, and it's like, yo, this is like full-blown cult stuff. This is like the stuff that I'm not with. Like, okay, if you're gonna try to help people, you want to help people, good, give them the tools and help them. But the moment you're just turning around and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna control every aspect of your life, get them out of here.
Small. The only place that felt safe was inside the cult. In 1993, the FBI raided a compound of a different cult in Waco, Texas. During the clash with law enforcement, dozens lost their lives. Cult members who resisted were arrested. Michel was terrified when he heard the news. He believed the government would target Butterfield next. His paranoia took over. He ordered his followers to hide their lives from their families. He planted spies to monitor anyone who tried to leave. He even broke into former members' homes to destroy evidence. Then, at the height of his fear, his secret came out. For nearly 20 years, Michel's followers believed he was divine. That illusion shattered in 2006. A former follower found out he was about Michel's hypnotherapy license. Then they sent an email to Butterfield members. The message exposed everything. The supernatural examiner they sent an email to Butterfield members. The message exposed everything.
Dang, that changed quick. Holy. Can we go back? Playback speed, let's change it to 5. And let's run that back.
Butterfield members. The message exposed everything.
Dang, still missed it. Alright. Let me get this alarm and then we'll come back to get it. Okay. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get it this time. Oh, okay, we gotta go to even slower, bro. We gotta go like 0.25 speed for this. Okay.
Everything.
Okay, so once it gets to that last line, we gotta stop.
Exposed everything.
Okay, so I think that's everything. I think that's everything we can read. Dear Butterfield, it's important for the entire Butterfield to understand why so many of the Master's longtime disciples have left. It is important for everyone to understand what the Master has been doing in his position of power and how it's been illegal behavior to those disciples closest to him. This information is factual and true and can be verified by any of the people that have experienced his behavior firsthand. By now, many of you have heard that last Friday, I, Daniel, aka Lindsay, tried desperately to get the Master, aka Adonis, aka Andreas, aka Cindy, aka... What? Why do they have all these names, bro? I'm so blown. But this is crazy work, bro. Hold on, I gotta put this up here. Here we go. Here we go, okay. This is crazy work, man. This cult stuff is crazy good. Not crazy good, but crazy in general. Okay. Can we get that to stay? Okay. Resume normal speed. And go.
The supernatural experiences were actually hypnosis. Michelle's powers were a lie. The email split the cult
Crazy.
in half. Some refused to accept it. Others finally saw the manipulation. Many left. A few remained loyal. After the scandal, Michelle wanted a fresh start, so he moved to Hawaii with his most loyal followers. He still runs Buddha Field in Hawaii.
Get this guy out of here, bro.
His next cult believes in lizard people. Ramtha School of Enlightenment. This cult became famous for one bizarre reason. Its founder claimed she was channeling the spirit of a 35,000-year-old warrior. That ancient warrior was called Ramtha, and the woman channeling him was Judy Zebra Knight. Knight said the spirit first contacted her in 1977. She was at home in Washington when a glowing figure appeared.
I thought I was seeing things because I had tears in my eyes, and I wiped the tears away, and here stood this entity at 2:30 in the afternoon in my kitchen.
That glowing figure introduced himself as Ramtha, the Enlightened One. He said he possessed ancient wisdom and the secret to happiness.
That's kind of dope. Hey, go ahead, share that with the people. That's kind of dope, yo. What if that did happen? That's kind of dope.
Taught Knight how to leave her body and channel it. That meant Ramtha could take over her body and speak through her. Knight would enter a trance.
That sounds like Sith magic, bro. That sounds like a Sith ritual.
Then her voice would become deep and masculine.
And finally, after several minutes, this
She's just a voice
40-year-old
actor.
woman says she has turned into a 35,000-year-old man.
Knight began channeling Ramtha publicly in 1978. Through her, Ramtha
wanna
preached
hear.
every human was their own god. Ramtha also said people could shape reality and heal themselves with their
She
minds.
does look
Is it
masculine.
possible to have mind over matter? Baby, the brain is king. The body is the kingdom.
It was a message people wanted to believe. By 1988, Knight had thousands of devoted followers. That year, she opened the
I mean, she's not doing anything bad yet. She's chilling. She's just like, she's getting into some weird energy, and she's telling people to take control of their lives. That's how it seems. Doesn't seem bad yet.
School of Enlightenment. The school
Well,
offered
let's see.
classes and retreats. A single class cost around $400, but retreats could cost as much as $1,500. Many followers moved
And then
near
that,
the campus.
back then, no, that's a lot of money. That was like, what, 1950s, 60s, 70s?
To be close to their teacher. The school became a multi-million
Here we go.
dollar business. But as the
Here we
school
go.
grew, Ramtha's teachings became troubling. Through Knight, Ramtha started making frightening prophecies.
He has a ton of predictions and beliefs about the New World Order, viruses, vaccines, plagues, and natural disasters.
One time, she predicted a massive flood was coming. She told followers to move inland.
One should leave
Was she
that which
correct?
is called the beaches and seek higher ground.
Over 1,500 people obeyed. They abandoned their homes and relocated inland. That shows how much control she had over her followers. There were more bizarre teachings. She spoke about lizard people living inside mountains. She warned that
Okay.
anyone who left the cult might be eaten by the lizard people.
Here we go. Here we go. With the control.
Outsiders believed
Start
she was
controlling people's
manipulating
lives, bro.
gullible followers. They accused her of being a spiritual
Spiritual
predator.
predator,
There were
yeah.
also allegations that Knight's teachings made some of her members lose their lives. For instance, several followers had serious medical conditions.
No.
Instead of sending them to hospitals, Knight claimed Ramtha could heal them. She hugged them, spoke comforting words, and declared them cured. Many were never healed. They passed away.
This lady went home from there, died of pneumonia.
Today,
She's no better than a plague doctor, bro. Y'all saw the plague doctor video? Bro, she literally said, I'll put some sense in your face, throw up one of these, and I'll see you tomorrow. Knowing dang well they're not going to be there tomorrow. That's crazy.
Jay-Z Knight is in her 70s. She still channels Ramtha at
That's
her
her?
Washington compound. The Ramtha School of Enlightenment.
They still let her do this? I guess it's not technically like illegal, right? Is it? Is what she's doing illegal? Has she done anything illegal yet? Maybe like pretending to be a practicing doctor or something, right? I would imagine. That's crazy, bro.
Now has branches in more than 35 countries. This next cult
35?
also promised healing, but just gave lies. Universal medicine. The Universal Medicine cult began in the most unlikely place, a bathroom. In September 1999, Serge Benhayan was relieving himself. Suddenly, he had a spiritual revelation.
And I just gave myself a time to sit and feel that moment, and I could feel something really, really beautiful.
Serge never fully explained what that revelation actually was, but it inspired him to start Universal Medicine in Australia. The group was marketed as a healing center, but critics called it something else, a socially dangerous and socially harmful cult. And once you hear Serge's teachings, you'll understand why. He preached that people born with disabilities were being punished or being dictators in a past life.
They are former incarnates of corrupt politicians, corrupt generals, army people, dictators.
Serge.
He said all autistic people are incarnates of former authority abuse and powerful abuse over others, as are Down syndrome, as are spastic, or any other disabled child. They're former incarnates of corrupt politicians, corrupt generals, army people.
Serge also warned
Bro, people believe anything, bro. Promise you. People believe anything. Anything, bro. That's the punishment for being corrupt. Being autistic is the punishment. That's what you're going to tell me? This is not even that bad. No, bro.
That certain foods carried a dark energy that poisoned the body. Foods like
if that's the worst you get for being a corrupt dictator, bro, that's hands up for me. Dictators are getting off scot-free at that point. There's no punishment.
Cinnamon, potatoes, and carrots. Eating them allowed evil forces to enter the body and cause disease. But there was one way to get rid of that energy.
Okay, he's yapping.
In other words, people would literally burp their way to healing.
She started burping all over the place. And after a while, we said, "What on earth are you doing?" And she said, "I'm getting rid of evil spirits."
Universal Medicine also sold teas, herbal elixirs, and creams that supposedly helped with this cleansing. To people desperate for healing, Serge was a savior. Thousands joined his movement. They attended retreats, bought his products, and built their lives around his teachings. Many swore they felt better.
I wouldn't keep paying if I didn't feel that I was getting something out of it. You just had a really refreshing take on things, and you just seemed really down to earth.
Before long, Universal Medicine
Is he from Australia?
became a multi-million-dollar empire. But Serge
You
had
say
other
billion?
demands for his followers, and those were far more controversial than burping rituals.
They have to dance.
Serge allegedly encouraged followers to cut ties with their families. Their new
There
family
we go.
was-
It's over. Pack them up. All right. You had me in the first half. I'm not going to lie. You gathered people together. You started doing some stuff. They felt like they were getting better. They felt a sense of community. Great. Amazing. But now you're telling them that you're trying to control their life and cuff their people. You got to go. Sorry. You've abused it. You're gone.
When someone challenged the cult, they were told they would have
you're
a
gone.
baby with Down
You're
syndrome
gone,
as
bro.
karma for judging others.
You're gone,
the cult
bro.
also
Yeah, get 'em
targeted
outta here.
people on their deathbeds.
Get 'em
According
outta
to
here, bro.
reports, terminally ill followers were told not to leave their money to their kids. If they did, their kidney energy would be damaged in the next life. Instead, they had to
Whoa.
leave their inheritance to the cult. And many
The cult
obeyed
is
one
crazy. Yo, he's stealing money from them. Get him out of here, dog. No.
woman left Serge
Please arrest this
$1.4 million
guy.
when she passed. Her family sued Universal Medicine,
Heck
fighting to
yeah.
get the money back. For years, these stories stayed below the radar. Universal
Can
Medicine
we
operated quietly
arrest
in the
this
shadows
guy?
until one woman
Like, can somebody like? Here's what I think is like an adequate resolution to this as of right now, right? Arrest this guy first and foremost for like scamming, manipulation, whatever charges you can put on him, put it on there. Laundering, money laundering, whatever charges you can. Arrest this guy. Get him some kind of mental help. I don't know what'll help. I think it might just be how he is. I don't even know if that's something that he needs help with. I think he's just not a good person. But that's not for me to decide. That's for the justice system to decide. And like, you know, whatever mental facilities. But take his money, redistribute it into maybe redistribute it into autism support groups and like mental disability support groups. Let's do that. Are we good? I think that's good. That's sufficient.
decided to expose them. Esther Rocket was a journalist. She heard about universal medicine, and in 2005, she decided to experience it for herself. Esther attended one of their group healing sessions. What she saw horrified her.
He had about 60 people in this room on treatment
They're from
tables,
Australia?
and he closed all the curtains so that it was completely dark.
During the session, people screamed and cried as if they were possessed. Esther was convinced something was deeply wrong with the group.
I thought again about going to the police, but what do you tell them? This guy's doing exorcisms on people.
So Esther spent the next few years investigating universal medicine. She posted everything she discovered on her blog, and every story was darker than the last. There were cases of emotional abuse, inheritance manipulation, and disturbing healing practices. Esther published it all, but universal medicine didn't appreciate the bad publicity. So in 2015, they sued Esther for defamation. It totally backfired. During the trial, the court reviewed Esther's evidence. They heard testimonies from former members of the cult. The court sided with Esther. They declared universal medicine a socially harmful cult. The jury also said that Serge used manipulation to make money and vilified people with disabilities. Universal medicine was ordered to pay Esther Rocket $1.2 million in damages. Despite the verdict, Serge wasn't criminally charged. Today, universal medicine still operates in Australia. They still hold retreats, sell healing products, and teach people to burp away evil spirits. Up next is a cult so extreme, some members ended up behind
Universal medicine.
bars.
Can we look this up real quick? Let's see. I want to look this up. Universal medicine. A cult founded by Serge Ben-Hayan. Ben-Hayan. They just started writing about this last month. Wait, where's the actual, like, website? Is this the website? It is. SergeBenHayan.tv, bruh. Get this guy out of here, bruh. There's nothing they can do about him, for real. He's just out here moving crazy and there's nothing they can do about it. That's tough. That's tough. Vigilante justice? Anybody? I'm kidding. Let's proceed.
The Remnant Fellowship. This cult started out as a weight loss program. In 1986, Gwen Shamblin launched the Weight Down Workshop. It was a 12-week fitness program sold on videotape. But it wasn't your regular diet plan. Gwen added a twist. She mixed fitness and dieting with religion. According to Gwen, weight issues weren't just about food. They were
spiritual.
Faith. In her eyes, being overweight meant you didn't trust God enough.
Gwen started touting the message that God told her people weren't consistently losing weight because they weren't being faithful to him.
The Weight Down Workshop was hardcore. Followers were told to eat only 10 bites of food a day. If they didn't lose 2 pounds daily, Gwen told them to stop eating altogether. Some followers claimed it worked.
God has removed 156 pounds from my body.
I've lost a total of 96 pounds.
The results made people believe. The movement became popular.
By 1997, Weight Down Workshops spread to over 30,000 weekly meetings in 70 countries.
Healthy?
Gwen became a celebrity. She appeared on talk shows and was praised as a Christian weight loss guru. No one realized her diet plan was about to evolve into a cult. In 1999, Gwen bought a massive piece of land in Brentwood, Tennessee. There she founded the Remnant Fellowship.
Was it like unhealthy for them? I want to know like what happened after the fact. Like did their bodies like default and go into shock or something like that? Did they have like any long-term negative effects, or were they actually good? Was it just like fasting? Because if it was actually fine, then I got no problems with her as of right now.
Very calculated. Since she had all that land, Gwen invited her Weight Down followers to join her on the property. They were forming a new community. She also had multiple businesses under the Remnant name. There was a real estate agency, a construction firm, a school, and more. These companies needed employees, so Gwen offered her followers jobs. Now they could live, work, and worship together, all under Gwen's control.
That's kind of cool.
Dozens of families moved in. Over time, more than
I'm not gonna lie, right now it doesn't even seem that bad. It just seems like somebody who had an idea or something. That idea actually helped people, and then she built a community around it. That's all it seemed like. For right now, that's all it seems like. It seems like a positive thing. But where does it turn? Let's find out.
1,000 members lived on or near the remnant property. It felt like a
Okay.
beautiful community, but soon things began to change, and not
Okay.
in a good way. Gwen's focus shifted from weight loss to total control. She dictated nearly every aspect
Here
of
we
her
go.
followers' lives, and it was easy because they lived and worked on her property.
All
Soon,
right.
leaving the cult meant losing everything.
If a member were to leave, not only would they lose their community, but most likely their livelihood as well.
Even more disturbing were Gwen's teachings about parenting. She encouraged strict discipline with harsh punishments, but that advice resulted in tragedy. In October 2003, a couple from Atlanta, Georgia took discipline a little far.
From
Their
Atlanta?
son didn't survive. The tragedy made
Y'all can't be moving like this, bro. Y'all can't be repping us like that, bro. Not from Atlanta, bro. Ooh, my city.
national headlines. The parents were sentenced to 30 years in prison. They were loyal members of the Remnant Fellowship. After their arrest, Gwen even helped pay for their lawyers. Many called for Gwen to be charged too. They said her toxic parenting advice caused the tragedy. To make matters worse, the Remnant Fellowship was identified as a cult by some cult experts. But police said they couldn't find a link between the incident and the church's teachings about punishment. Without direct evidence, Gwen
what
walked
was
free.
she teaching?
Continued to lead the fellowship. Over the years, she built enormous wealth and power. But in May 2021, tragedy struck again. This time,
She looks
at the
like a
top.
demon
After the
now.
private plane crashed into a lake near Nashville on Saturday.
She
All
died?
seven
At the top.
After the private plane.
Diet guru and actor husband plane crash mystery.
Plane crashed into a lake near Nashville on Saturday. All 7 people on board presumed dead.
Gwen lost her
So
life
God
in a
said
plane
no.
crash. She was with her husband and 5 others. Many expected the
Nah,
fellowship
God was like, all right, you're done. he said, I gave you something nice, you abused it, you're done. That's crazy.
to collapse without her, but it didn't. Today, the Remnant Fellowship still operates from the same Brentwood property.
That's so
Gwen's
crazy.
children now lead it, continuing her legacy. This next cult started their own country.
A
Swami
country?
Nityananda.
Is that in
Swami
Africa?
Nityananda
Oh,
wasn't
nah,
an
India.
ordinary cult leader. His followers believed he could create jewels out of thin air. Some even called him a living god. But this so-called god couldn't control his impulses, and soon his entire empire collapsed. In 2003, Swami built a massive spiritual
essayed
retreat
somebody?
in
I'm
India.
calling
It
it. He
became
probably
famous for
essayed
one
somebody.
reason: Swami's supernatural powers.
Over the years, he claimed several miraculous superpowers, including ones which allowed him to help the blind see.
People swore Swami healed their illnesses. Others said he performed miracles. Swami himself said he once delayed the sunrise by 40 minutes. Each story made him more famous. Swami also claimed he
sounds
could
like a
teleport.
I felt alive with the whole cosmos.
His claims spread across India and
teleport.
beyond. Soon, Swami had 1,000 retreats in 33 countries. Tens of thousands of followers hung on his every word.
What you mean claim he could teleport? Can we just see him teleport? Why are we just believing these claims? Is there any evidence of anybody who's seen him, or like, can we see that he can teleport? Is bro just yapping?
Swami wasn't just a spiritual leader, he was divine. Little did they know, Swami was about to become a fugitive from the law. In 2010,
Yeah,
Swami's
teleport away
empire
then.
began to fall apart. A woman from his retreat accused him of being inappropriate with her. Swami
I
was
knew it. It
arrested
was
and
essay.
released on bail. More women came forward. Some described inappropriate behavior. Others said they were kept in his retreats against their will. There were even stories of forced labor. Then in 2014, things went from bad to worse.
A
Always
24-year-old
some
woman
essay,
disciple who
bro,
was
promise you.
with the Nitya ashram for 4 years has been found dead.
The woman was found lifeless inside his retreat. Swami insisted it was
No.
from natural causes, but the victim's parents suspected foul play. By now, the accusations against him were overwhelming. It seemed inevitable that Swami would end up behind bars. But he
Get
had
him
other
outta here,
plans.
bruh.
He went on the run. After his disappearance, Swami became a wanted man in India. Years passed without a trace.
2019.
Then in 2019, he resurfaced on social media. He had big news. Swami declared he created his own country, the Republic of Kailasha. He called himself its prime minister. Kailasha had its own central bank, passports, and national
What?
anthem. But one detail didn't add
Ow.
up. Nobody knew where Kailasha actually was. Some doubted it was even real. Swami continued posting on social media but never revealed his location. Meanwhile, his followers kept promoting Kailasha, trying to make it it look like a legitimate country. In 2023, Kailasha even sent someone to the United Nations meeting.
I'm
here representing the United States of Kerala. I'm the permanent ambassador.
The UN ignored it, but the cult kept pushing.
Whoa, this guy created a fake country and showed up to the UN. He really pulled up to the... How did he even get in there? How did she even get in there? How did they recognize its legitimacy? Can you just... Anyone can just roll up to a UN meeting? Is that how it works? That's crazy.
To get Kailasha recognized as a real country.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to meet diplomats and other world leaders.
Today, Swami is still in hiding. To critics, he's a fugitive, but to his
So
followers,
he's in hiding. And they just let his ambassadors pull up to a UN meeting? He's a fugitive? And this is beyond me, bro. What? How does this happen?
Divine ruler building a new world, and until he's found, both his cult and his so-called country will continue.
Why don't y'all focus on not essaying people
the
first?
Rajneesh movement.
About that.
Most cults are
before
dangerous.
You go and start a country, before you go and start a cult, why don't you focus on not essaying people first? Why don't we start there? Ridiculous.
Because of their outrageous beliefs. But the Rajneesh movement said all the right things. They preached love, peace, and freedom. But when outsiders challenged them, they became violent. And they made a move that almost wiped out hundreds of innocent people.
Whoa.
The Rajneesh movement began in India. It was founded by a man named Rajneesh. In 1976, he opened a retreat in West India. His goal was to create a place where people could practice meditation and achieve spiritual growth. His timing couldn't have been better. The 1970s were the height of the hippie movement.
A lot of rebellious hippies sort of looking for something different than the status quo.
Many young people were tired of traditional religion and authority. Rajneesh gave them a new kind of spirituality. He preached about becoming a new man, someone who could find inner freedom through accepting and rising above desire. His message attracted thousands to his retreat.
Open, loving environment, and everyone's meditating all day, and everyone's hugging, and it's just very open.
Life inside the retreat was peaceful, but outside, Rajneesh's message was making enemies. Rajneesh rejected traditional religion. He believed that every person could find their own way to spiritual enlightenment, but that philosophy didn't sit well with some radical people in India.
I like that.
To them, his teachings were offensive. Eventually, someone decided to shut him up permanently. In 1980, an extremist tried to assassinate Rajneesh. He survived, but the attempt convinced him to leave India for his safety. He wanted a place where he and his followers could live freely without fear of persecution. In 1981, he found it. He and his followers moved to America. There, they bought a 60,000-acre ranch near Antelope, Oregon. It was going to be their safe space. The land was empty, but Rajneesh's followers transformed it.
Who lives in Oregon?
Restaurants, and even an airport.
They had, quite simply,
I was wondering who lives in Oregon. It's them.
An entire city from scratch.
They called the city Rajneeshpuram. For a while, it worked. They were self-sufficient, peaceful, and isolated. But in 1984, the cult was in trouble again. There was conflict between Rajneesh and his neighbors in surrounding towns. The American locals wanted the cult gone. They claimed Rajneesh didn't have permission to build a city on that land. But Rajneesh's followers refused to leave. Tensions were at a breaking point. The locals took the matter to court, hoping to get the cult evicted. The commune's survival depended on the authorities' decision. And that's when Rajneesh's inner circle hatched a desperate plan. The plan came from a woman named Ma Sheila. She was one of Rajneesh's top leaders. She was also one of the most ruthless. Sheila's plan was simple. Get the cult's members elected to local government. That way they could use their authority to prevent the commune from getting evicted. Luckily, there was an upcoming election in the country. Two followers agreed to run for office, but victory was nearly impossible. They just didn't have enough votes to win. The surrounding towns had way more registered voters, and almost all of them would vote against Sheila's candidates. So Sheila decided to take a darker route. She would win by making local residents too sick to show up to vote. Before the election, Sheila and her team visited restaurants in the area. Then they purposely contaminated salad with salmonella bacteria. The plan worked. Hundreds fell violently ill. A few almost lost their lives.
45 people received hospital treatment.
At the time, that event was considered the largest bioterror attack in American history.
Other than the first one that allowed them to take it in the first place, but we're gonna push past that. But whoa, a bio attack, bro. all to get... They probably thought it was self-defense, right? Probably thought it was self-defense. Like, okay, they're trying to get us evicted, so we're going to do a bio attack so they can't vote us out of the community, right? I can see that side. But this is crazy, bro. That was not the way to go about that. Like, I get that you want to stay, but that is not the way to go about that. That's crazy. These are innocent people, bro. Well, assumed innocent people. Like, yeah, that's not it, bro.
Residents suspected that Rajneesh's people were behind the attack. Before long, police traced the source of the outbreak back to the cult. Mashila was sentenced to 4.5 years for the salad attack.
Only 4?
Then the police went after Rajneesh himself. He denied knowing about the attack, but that didn't save him. Rajneesh was deported back to India in 1986. Back in India, Rajneesh and his followers continued the cult. He passed away in 1990, but the Rajneesh movement still operates in India, run by his remaining disciples. This next cult was created by a computer scientist in Silicon Valley, the Zizians.
Oh my, the Zizians.
The Zizians
This sounds
are one
degenerate.
of the most violent cults in modern history.
Of
Their philosophy can be summed up in one belief: violence
Gen Z?
is the answer.
Oh
Zizians
my
would believe
gosh.
that the end justifies the means. So if the means meet,
All right, nah, pack them
The
up.
end justifies the means.
They're just,
For them,
it's just a fascist regime. It's not even anything progressive at all. It's just a fascist regime. No better than Hitler, no better than the Nazis, no better than Stalin, no better than none of that, bro. It's just a repeat with a different name.
Phrase wasn't a metaphor. If you wanted something, you took it. If someone stood in your way, you removed them. If that meant breaking the law or even taking life, it didn't matter. The cult was created by a woman named Jack Lazota, which called herself Ziz. Around 2016, Ziz began posting long blogs about her philosophy. She wrote that violence can be excused in service of the greater good. She also fantasized about what would happen if society were to strip away morality. Her extreme ideas attracted a devoted online following. They met in chat rooms, then later...
Honestly, I was going to say who let this person gain power, but really, she didn't gain power. She just said what other people were quietly thinking, and those people who were quietly thinking that flocked to her. That's all it was. That's crazy.
Over time, Ziz's supporters began calling themselves Zizians. What started as one woman's blog was now a cult that glorified violence. In 2020, several Zizians moved into a trailer park in California. They had no plans to pay rent. When the landlord demanded payment, they ignored him. When he tried to evict them, they fought back. They just lived there illegally, refusing to leave.
Despite his best efforts, Linz remains unable to remove the Zizians for years.
Eventually, the landlord took them to court and won. A judge issued an eviction order against the Zizians. That's when the Zizians decided to act on their own violent beliefs. 2 days before the eviction, they attacked the landlord. It was brutal. Then they fled the trailer park.
What are they gonna attack him for? Hold on, bro. Y'all just did that for no reason. It wasn't for no greater good, bro. Y'all just did that out of spite. That was not for no greater good. Y'all just wanted to be literal degenerates. They just literally wanted to be degenerate, bro. Like, what does that do for you? You already lost the court case. Y'all were getting evicted. Why do you go and beat up, bro? What does that do for the greater good? You're already leaving right now anyways. You're just being degenerate.
They attacked the landlord. It was brutal. Then they fled the trailer park, believing they ended the landlord. But they hadn't. Another tenant found him and rushed him to the hospital.
He had to be hospitalized for a month, but he made it. He survived.
When the Zizians heard the landlord was still alive, they were furious. And although they were wanted by the police, they wanted to finish the job. So the Zizians risked everything, came back to California, and jumped the landlord again. This time, he didn't survive. But that was just the beginning of the Zizians' crime spree.
Whoa.
In Pennsylvania, one member allegedly
Please tell me they got
ended
arrested.
her parents. Another Zizian ended a U.S. Border Patrol agent in Vermont. She did it because the officer stopped her for a routine inspection. Soon, the Zizians were responsible for multiple crimes across 3 states. But living as fugitives wasn't as easy as they imagined. Law enforcement made them a top priority. By early 2025, 4 Zizians
Can we arrest them? Why they all look the same? Hold up.
Enforcement made them a top priority. By early
That's just gathering up dark triad trait dominant people.
2025.
Like, look at that. Whoa, hold on. Bro, literally the middle two got the same look in their eyes, bro. That's so crazy. The same, like, I don't care about the world look, bro. That's crazy.
4 Zizians were captured. One was the cult founder herself.
Can we get him out of here?
A person named Jack Lasota, who goes by the name Ziz online, was arrested yesterday in Maryland.
The remaining Zizians went into hiding. Police are still searching for them. Their blogs and forums are still active. Their violent ideology is still being shared. Even with their leader in custody, the cult is still operating in the shadows. My friends, manipulation doesn't always look evil.
They're Sith
Sometimes
lords.
it looks like community. Sometimes
They're like
it
minor
looks like
Sith lords.
healing. Sometimes it even looks like love. But if someone isolates you from your family, empties your bank account, and threatens you if you try to leave, that's not love. That's evil. Visual Venture.
Visual Venture, thank you.
Well, thank you guys for listening to my sick voice. I think I'm gonna need a break. But if you guys thought
isn't
these
this what we
cults
just
were bad,
watched?
I talk about cults that take things even further. Some manipulated
that's a
children,
different
and
one.
others were murderers. To watch the most disturbing cults on the internet, click right here. Love you.
Maybe we'll watch that one, but not right now. How about that? How about that? With that being said, let me know what y'all think about cults. Have y'all ever been in a cult? Y'all ever escaped from a cult? We got any former cultists or present cultists in here? Let me know down in the comment section. What do y'all think about cults? Y'all like them? Y'all don't? Let me know, and we'll talk about it for a second. You know, let me know your thoughts. With that being said, go ahead and like the video, subscribe. Yeah, if you want to. And that's gonna be it. I'll see you later. Okay, bye.